We're gonna have you mute to start.
Yeah, I'm doing that, but you're gonna have to unmute yourself.
Awesome. I will build this world from love. And you must build this world from love. And if we build this world from love, then God will build this world from love. Join me, Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Olam Chesed
Beautiful nigun, that melody by Rabbi Menachem Creditor, who's known to many in our congregation. And it's just very haunting that we should all want to build a world of peace. And there are so many reasons for us to be thinking that this Shabbat, and we'll sort of circle around them. One, of course, is the fact that the election has taken place, and it's all about trying to build a new and better world, no matter who you support. But this is also the week of Kristallnacht, the night of broken glass, when the Holocaust began and so many synagogues were destroyed. So what you see me sitting in front of is a model of a synagogue from Poland, Middle Ages, late Middle Ages, that was destroyed but then reconstructed, and also a model of it built in the museum, the Jewish Museum in Warsaw, which we visited a few years ago. So this beautiful, beautiful synagogue talks not about the destruction. This is Shabbat, so let's talk about the rebirth and also the light at the end of the dark tunnel of the Shoah. And this is the week of Veterans Day. We talk about building a new world of peace. We certainly think of our veterans. So we have all of that sort of coming together tonight. Let's begin with Shalom Aleichem. Oh, and yeah, we have a bat mitzvah too. I think you're muted, Katie. Sorry.
HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachei צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ינאי נאי נאי נאי, ינאי נאי נאי נאי, ינאי נאי נאי, ינאי נאי נאי.
And now let's join for Lechune Ranena. We're on page 11 if you have the prayer book in front of you, otherwise just on the screen.
Lechune Ranena, l'Adonai nariya litzur yisheinu. Lechune Ranena, l'Adonai nariya litzur yisheinu. Nikad mafanav bitoda bizmirot nariya lo. Nikad mafanav bitoda bizmirot nariya lo. Lechune ranena l'Adonai nariya litzur yisheinu. Lechune ranena l'Adonai nariya litzur yisheinu. Arba'im shana aku bedor, va'omar hamtoi levavhem, v'hem lo yadu dirachai, asher nishbati v'api, im yivo'u namenuchati.
So now we move ahead to Lachadodi, and as has sort of become our custom, since we're all in different places, we want to sort of find a common space, and that common space would be if we open our doors and we look outside, we could both welcome the Shabbat bride into our homes, but also recognize that we share the same sky as everyone else here, as all Jews, as all human beings. It brings out the connections between us. So we'll be doing the first two and last two verses of Lachadodi. And for I think there are some kids here. I did detect some kids. Dancing is allowed. You might be spotlighted.
Lechadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabla. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, hishmiyanu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shmo echad. L'shem u'tiferet v'litehila, lechadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabla. Lechadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabla. לקראת שבת לכו ונחה, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם ניסוחה. סוף מעשה במחשבה תהילה, לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. ימין ושמאל תפרוצי ואת אדוני תעריתי על יד איש, בין פרתי ונשמחה ונגילה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום, עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצוך עולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, להדודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
Keep going. One more. We're doing it for you, Brooke. Lecha
דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
As you said, Sue, you don't have to be a kid in order to dance.
There's big kids too.
That's right. So we, we usually do wows of the week at this point, and I think it's nice, especially in a week that's been so eventful, but let's do wows that may be more eventful for our personal lives. And so let's share just like a couple. Let's do one or two. And just unmute yourself if you'd like to share something special that happened to you this week.
Me and my friend didn't feel good, so she couldn't go to school, and I didn't go to school because of something. It's really confusing. But anyway, so I got to do my work with her, and it was very fun. So I'm excited someone to do my work with.
All right. Thanks, Brooke. That was great. Kind of nice, we're sort of missing our friends these days. Anyone else want? Just go ahead and unmute.
So this is I don't know. This is a wow. It was a wow for me. So I've been phone banking for this last couple of months, but this week was especially meaningful to me because I got to speak to a number of people in North Carolina, and they're very different than people up north. They actually talk to you and they pick up their phones. And So that was my wow, and I just to be able to make that contribution, but also to realize that there are people out there that do want to talk, and they want to vote, and they want to do the right thing. So that was my wow.
That is actually amazing, to think out of state, strange person that never seen that name before on your caller ID, and to pick up the phone. Okay.
Yep.
I'm going to say that on election day, Merritt and I spent the entire day outside the poll at Schofield School. And it's the most wonderful sight of America to see all people rushing in, no matter who their candidate was. There was a large number of people, and they all commented. We had our sign for our candidates, but it didn't matter. It's like America at its finest.
Roz, you've done this for I'd say a few years.
A few years.
Yeah. So was it this year different?
No, there were maybe even fewer because so many people did mail-in. But also, I see Rosalie there, and I have to tell you that for about 10 weeks at my home, once a week, I had about 15 to 20 women who came and wrote cards to people all over the country in support of certain candidates. That was like one of the most exciting things, that once a week, because we could be outdoors and wear masks, that these 15 or 20 women arrived and we all wrote cards.
And we felt very
I'll
good
join
about
you
it,
next
too.
time.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I got the sense, and I voted in advance, but that people treated voting more like a mitzvah this year, more as a solemn religious moment, a very sacred moment.
And
that's the way we always should.
Most people I know voted in advance, but we voted at the polls, and they really did it very, very well. The people who you had to show your ID were behind plastic. I wore gloves because ordinarily there's like a pen that's attached that everyone uses, but now they gave everybody like a little golf pencil, and it went very well. And I think I felt quite safe doing it.
Well, that's wonderful. All right, so Fran, you'll be the last person, okay? Because I want to move on.
This is a wow on behalf of my daughter. As many of you know, her name actually is Ruth B. Ginsburg. And she had applied to be a poll worker in her area of Boston and was told, that they didn't need any more. And then all of a sudden she got a call a couple of weeks ago from the Board of Elections. And they said, "Is this Ruth Ginsburg?" And she said, "Yeah." They said, "Really?" And she said, "Yeah, it really is my name." She says, "How would you like to be a poll worker?" So she actually got to go get trained as a real poll worker, and she got to be a poll worker. She said it was one of the most magnificent things she's ever done. She worked from 6 in the morning till 9 o'clock at night, and she absolutely loved it.
I mean, she should be making the phone calls. This is Ruth.
Kind of like a seance.
Yeah. So anyway, what we'd like to do with these wows is to maybe hold some over for the end of the service, or even after the service. We could do a little lobby like we did on the high holidays, if people want to stick around and talk, especially about the goings on of this week, some of your experiences, because I think it is a good idea. But we're going to move ahead with our service now, and the Psalm of Gratitude, the Shabbat Psalm.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, וזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון בכינור. מה גדלו מעשיך ים, מי מה גלו מעשיך היה מי עמקו מחשבותיך צדיק התמר יפרח כארז בבנון יסגר שתולים בבית ארוני בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו אור נבון סבע דשנים ורעננים יהיו להגיד כי אשר אדוני תורי ולא אף לא תבוא. הללויה
Hallelujah,
הללויה
hallelujah.
הללויה.
Beautiful. So before we head on to the Ma'ariv service, just a note about this being the week of Kristallnacht. Of course, November 9th and 10th, 1938 was when so many of the synagogues of Germany were set aflame in a deliberate attempt to provoke violence by the German government, although they made it sound like it was spontaneous. I thought we'd do a Holocaust poem, but not one that we normally do. Again, I'm trying to create at least a hopeful aura tonight, a sense of a light at the end of all the tunnels, and we have so many that we face and we have faced, not the least of which being the pandemic, which is now apparently going to its heights. So this poem from the Holocaust is one that you've probably heard, you may have heard, because I've used it a lot, and it's a fascinating one. And let's see if I can find it. No, it's not where I think it is. Hold on one second. Anyway, if I can't get it on board on the share, here it is. Yeah, I got it. Okay. This, I've used at funerals, and I've heard of it having different authorship, having nothing to do with the Holocaust, but recently I came across this analysis and this backgrounder on it. This poem, which is "Do Not Stand at My Grave and Weep," is a Holocaust poem written in 1932 by Mary Elizabeth Fry. Although the origin of the poem was disputed for some time, Mary Fry's authorship was confirmed in 1998 and was confirmed by none other than Dear Abby, Abigail Van Buren. But as far as we know, she'd never written any poetry before, but the plight of a young German Jewish woman, Margaret Schwarzkopf, who was staying with her and her husband at the time, inspired the poem. Margaret Schwarzkopf had been concerned about her mother, who was ill in Germany, but she had been warned not to return because of increasing anti-Semitic unrest that was erupting into what became known as the Holocaust. So this was in the early 30s, just even before Hitler came to power, how prescient it was. When her mother died, the heartbroken young woman told Fry that she never had the chance to stand by my mother's grave and shed a tear. Fry found herself composing a piece of verse on a brown paper shopping bag. Later, she explained that the words just came to her and expressed what she felt about life and death. So here is the poem. Do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there, I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow. I am the diamond glints on snow. I am the sun on ripened grain. I am the gentle autumn rain. When you awaken in the morning's hush, I am the swift uplifting rush of quiet birds in circling flight. I am the soft starshine at night. Do not stand at my grave and cry. I am not there. I did not die. And we have so many to remember today, and so much to think about, so many tragedies on our minds weighing us down. But let Shabbat lift us up as we literally lift ourselves up for the Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai Mevorach Liolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai.
And we are seated.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני, המאריך ברבים.
Let's join on mute together with Ahavat Olam on page 40. And there is a bat mitzvah in the house. Maya, just sort of get yourself ready because the Shema comes right afterwards.
Just look up to Hashem and you'll find love, 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 love. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shochteinu v'kumenu nasiach b'chukecha v'nismach b'divrei toratecha u'b'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ahavat olam beit Yisrael. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגע יומם ולילה ואחוותך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך אהבת אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך אהבת. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל.
So our bat mitzvah this Shabbat is Maya Shapiro. And Maya, yeah, that's great. Come a little closer to the camera. A little closer. Okay, that's perfect. We are so proud of you. We all want to see you. And you're going to lead us in Shema and V'ahavta. You got it there? And you're unmuted? Good.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. No.
Wrong day? Sorry.
The girl is right.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meyodecha v'hayu ha'devarim ha'ela asher anechi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, ושבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך, ושבתך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, ובטחתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך.
All right, Yashar Koach. We shall see you later. And people might recognize Maya because she's often in the past, especially several years back, was very involved in helping to lead our Friday night services and leading several of the prayers with her beautiful voice. Okay, let's continue with the rest of the Shema. Just take a few moments for the second and third paragraphs.
Adonai Elohechem emet.
Okay. Maya, you have lots of fans in the chat. Let's continue with a prayer for redemption. Mi chamocha. It's on page 44.
ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ומרים ובני ישראל לכהנו שירה בשמחה רבה ואמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נדע בקודש נורא
Nora,
Tehilot,
Tehilot,
Oseh,
Pele,
Nora, Tehilot, Oseh, Pele, מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים, זה לי אנו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כיבד אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
And as we approach Veterans Day, before the Hashkivenu prayer, the prayer for peace and security, this would be an appropriate time to pay tribute to those who have helped to maintain our peace and security for all of these centuries, all of these years, in this country and elsewhere. So this poem: these things I do not know, the sound of a bullet, the power of a blast, the blood of a comrade, the depth of your wound, the terror at midnight, the dread at dawn, your fear or your pain. These things I know, the sound of your honor, the power of your courage, the blood of your wound, the depth of your strength, the terror that binds you, the dread that remains, your dignity and your valor. For these things we pray, the sound of your laughter, the power of your voice, the blood of your yearning, the depth of your healing, the joy that frees you, the hope that remains, your wholeness, and your love. Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom ve'amidenu malkeinu lechayim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom ve'amidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Sometimes I lay under the moon and I thank God I'm breathing. And then I pray, don't take me soon, 'cause I am here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know one day it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more war and our children will play. One day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'ha'amidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'ha'amidenu malkeinu l'chaim. ושמור תתנו עינו לחיים, ושלום אתה ועד עולם, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ברוך אתה אדוני. הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו, ועל כל עמו ישראל, ועל ירושלים.
V'shamru on page 46.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם,
אותי לעולם,
אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני,
עשה אדוני
את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש,
שבת
וינפש,
שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
So, of course, you sort of know the drill at this point. While in a normal Kabbalat Shabbat service, we would do the Chatzi Kaddish and have silent devotion. Silence doesn't work quite as well in this Zoom world. So what we do instead is put into the chat, which I've done, the link to our Siddur. If you don't have it already and you would like to open up that PDF, you can take this time now to do some silent prayer as and the Amidah, which begins, I believe, on 47. Otherwise, we are going to head into our healing prayer and our special section of the service. So if you have any names you'd like mentioned certainly there are so many reasons to mention people for healing at this time. Please feel free to put the names into the chat or to call them out if you would like at an appropriate moment.
Mi sheberach avotenu mikor habracha limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mikor habracha avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. And now for our country. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, our home, sweet home.
Thank you. So it's impossible to go through this service as much as we'd like without talking about the elephant and donkey in the room, the elections, and I think, Katie, your singing God Bless America was the perfect way to sort of usher us into that. And by the way, if something has happened in the last 44 minutes since this service began, I don't need to know. It's okay. I'm sure I'll find out soon enough, but I have a feeling not. And this isn't really a time to analyze the vote, or even to congratulate the winners and those who haven't yet been declared. There'll be plenty of opportunity to do that, but that isn't really what I think the focus should be right now. We need to talk about our divided country. And the divisions most certainly remain. This week didn't heal any wounds. The flames, in fact, are still being fanned. But it did unify us in two distinct ways. First of all, there was plenty for everyone to be unhappy about. When you think about it, that's no small accomplishment, that everyone was dissatisfied about something. No matter what side of the divide you're on, there's something you're not happy about today. So we should all join the Debbie Downer Club. On the other hand, there's plenty for everyone, or just about everyone, to be hopeful about. I mean, those, no secret for me, I've clamored for a little bit more stability, Menschlichkeit, coming from leadership, and it looks like that may be on the way. But even more than that, something remarkable happened this week that should stop us in our tracks and amaze us. And that is, and I'm not the first to say this, but that is that more Americans participated in this election than ever before. You know, and all the things that we were fearing, the blatant foreign interference, well, to the degree that we know, it wasn't there. Certainly the machines didn't malfunction any more than they would normally. And in fact, things seemed to go very smoothly for an enormous vote, which this was. There's no, to this degree, sense of foul play or massive fraud that took place, or at least that we've seen any evidence of. But what we did see was the mechanics of democracy at work. We saw, and boy, did they work hard, I have to say. Democracy's first responders wearing masks. You knew that they were putting their health at risk, counting ballot after ballot for hour after hour, except Nevada. They took their breaks. But it was so systematic, it was so courageous, while we waited patiently and are still waiting. And that patience itself is courageous. It was really miraculous. It was a miracle of democracy at work. And I hope the world took notice. I hope the world noticed. Babylonian Talmud says, they record a blessing to recite when seeing a multitude of people. In the original context, as you see here, it was a multitude of Jews, huge gathering of Jews, and there's a blessing when you see a huge gathering, in this case of Jews, but we can sort of apply it to everyone. And you can see it, Baruch atah Adonai, etc., Haram Harazim. Basically it says, blessed are you, O Lord our God, the knower of secrets. And now this is from the Gemara, from the Talmud. It adds, for their minds differ one from the other, and their faces differ one from the other. Their minds are unlike each other, and their faces are unlike each other. That's why you bless God when you see so many people together doing the same thing. Now, this was meant in terms of 600,000 or people at the Red Sea. But to have 150 million or just about voting, Americans doing the same thing, Americans of all different stripes, Americans of all different backgrounds and of all different political opinions, that was worthy of that same blessing that the Talmud speaks of. But also, the blessing alludes to the fact that God may have known the outcome of what was going to happen in history at Mount Sinai or Red Sea, and God probably knows who's going to win this election, but the secrets to us are only revealed over time. They're unfolding day by day, hour by hour, and we're seeing that happen, sort of like the secrets of the Torah itself. And that too is rather remarkable and is amazing. This blessing, and it is a blessing, it reminds us that we each hold our very own passionate beliefs about the leaders and policies of our country, but created in God's image, our faces differ, our opinions differ, and that diversity is more than just skin deep. And in fact, it is something worthwhile of a blessing. You know, you can no longer classify people in the way that we may have classified them for the past 4 years, because you can't say this person is an X voter or a Y voter, because there was one different person or different people, and people voted in some ways differently. States voted differently. Things are fluid. So we have to look at other people in the same way. We can't look at people in a fixed stereotypic sense. This is an X voter anymore. So let's bring it to this portion. In this week's portion of Vayera, Abraham famously argues on behalf of the people of Sodom, that evil city. God wanted to destroy them for their sins. And the Midrash says, what are their sins? Haughtiness, egotism, mistreatment of women, and being unwelcoming to immigrants. That's the Midrash. What can I say? Abraham pleads with God to save the city for only the sake of 50 righteous people there. And God says, there aren't 50. Abraham goes down to 40. God says, no way. Abraham goes all the way down to 10. You probably know the story. God says there aren't even 10 righteous people in Sodom. And when God says that, Abraham gives up. To that, Rashi asks a natural question. Let's see if I can find my Rashi. It's not there. You don't need Rashi. I can just tell you about Rashi. Rashi asks, and maybe it's the question you're asking, why didn't he argue for 9? Why didn't he argue for 8? Every human being is worth an infinite amount. Everyone is in God's image. So if there were 8, Abraham should have argued for the 8. We know that Lot, Abraham's nephew, and his family came from Sodom, and they were rescued, but there were just a few of them. There were perhaps some who weren't rescued. Isn't every innocent life important? And Rashi's answer is that Abraham knew his history. And you know, there wasn't a lot of history to know at that point. This was Abraham, the beginning of Jewish history. But there was the history of the flood and Noah. And Abraham knew that in that time, there were just 8 righteous people. There was Noah and his family, his wife, his sons, etc., and their wives, and the generation couldn't be saved. The flood happened. So Abraham didn't bother to ask. What Abraham understood is 2 things. One, that a group of people, even a vast minority, even just 10, even a minion, can save a whole city. But 2, if we look at people as individuals and not as groups, we recognize that our destinies are all intertwined. So those 9 good individuals were unable to change the course of destruction. Abraham was unable to change it for the sake of 9. And therefore, the good suffered the same fate as the evil. Everyone's destiny was intertwined. The people of Sodom suffered the same fate, whether they were good or bad, because there were fewer than 10. But had there been more than 10, that group would have been able to make a difference. That group would have been able to save the others. Even if they didn't like the others, they would have been able to save them. And by the way, please know that I am making these classifications of good and evil only in relation to Sodom and not to Americans, to voters. For those who voted this week, there really are good people on both sides. And if there's going to be a little more Menschlichkeit coming from the White House this coming year, maybe it will not be a blue Menschlichkeit or a red Menschlichkeit, but an American Menschlichkeit. And just as we all would have perished in Sodom, but for the sake of those who prayed for the rest, we can all find hope in this new America. Shabbat Shalom. Let's continue. Maya, you ready there to do the Kiddush? I'm not going to get the Kiddush up on the screen because we want to see you. Are you there? Hold on.
Yeah, she's coming.
Okay. There you go.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'ratzon inhilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit. Kikuyon techila lemikra kodesh, zecher letziat mitzrayim, kivanu v'charta, v'tanu kizashta, mikol hamim, v'shabbat kodshecha, le'ahava u'ratzon, michatanu. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen.
Take a good drink. All right. So
Beautiful.
can you or anyone at the table tell me the story behind that Kiddush cup? That is an amazing Kiddush. Can you show it to everyone again?
It was a wedding gift.
My God. You're just having your bat mitzvah.
Oh, no, not me.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. It is a lovely Kiddush cup. All right. So,
Beautiful job, Maya.
yes. Let's continue with Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. שהעונות השמיים ויעשה הארץ ומשב יקרב לשמנו שזהו ודמו. הוא אלוהינו אינו אלוהינו וזולתו ככתוב.
And we can be seated. And you may have noticed that songs, melodies that we have where we call and respond, it's a lot easier to do over Zoom, and you can unmute yourself if you'd like.
אל לבביך כי אדוני הוא האלוהים והשבות אל לבביך כי אדוני הוא האלוהים והשבות אל לבביך כי אדוני הוא האלוהים ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
It's great hearing everyone's voice, except when mine is an echo. I'm not sure why, but it is. So we may need you. Okay.
5 people.
Anyway, whoops. Hold on. There we go. We'll unmute those who are saying the Kaddish, of course. But in the meantime, our congregation mourns the passing of Claire Stanger, the mother of Hope Stanger, and we pray that her memory be for a blessing. We also recall in loving memory this coming week the yahrzeits of Arkady Alperovich, Morris Belitz, Hy Blue Weiss, Bernard Brenner, Shirley Chait, Gladys Cohen, Irene Cohen, Benjamin Ellman, Paula Epstein, George Fried, Herman Gavronsky, Betty Greenstein, Molly Gruber, Carolina Halpern, Alice Harris, Samuel Hecht, Martin Horwitz, Marion Jacobson, David S. Jaffe, Morris Karp, Francesca Konigsbacher, Ben Krim, Raymond Lambert, Frederica Lewis, Estelle Mandel, David Markowitz, Gossi Marcel, Irving Natter, Dr. Alexander Perry, Lenny Plotsky, Larry Pollack, Eva Romanowitz, Esther Rose, Stanley Sandler, Nathan Seaman, Anna Smith, Richard Sokol, Al Solov, Irving Sosnowitz, Mirza Baba Terani, Ruth Wattenberg, David Weiner, Frida White, Irving Wishengrad, and Jay Wishengrad. Those who mourn and those who recall Yartzeit now can join in the Mourners Kaddish. Yit Gadal v'Yit Gadash Shemei Rabah
Amen.
Yalmad Yivrach Yisrael Yehei Shmei Rabah L'Mei Almaya Yitbarach Yitadar Yela min Chata B'Shirata Amiran Bialman
Amen.
Yehei Shlama Rabah Shemaya Chayim Oseh Shalom Shleinu Yisrael Yishnei Tevel Imru.
Amen.
V'imru, 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 amen. V'imru, 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 amen.
Amen. And Dana, you are giving our announcements. Our greeter.
Thank you, Rabbi and Cantor Katie, for the services this evening, and a special mazel tov to Maya and the whole Shapiro family. I have no doubt that you are going to ace it tomorrow. Oh, Brookie has joined me in the background. Speaking of tomorrow, services are on Zoom at 10 a.m. for the celebratory bat mitzvah of Maya. Sunday at 9 a.m. we have the Sukkah takedown if you are available to volunteer. I know Josh Levine, president of the men's club, is looking for more volunteers. Rabbi Jerry on Monday at 1:30 is doing a session on Pirkei Avot, the ethics of our ancestors. And then on Thursday, Men's Club Scotch and Torah at 8:45. Lastly, next Sunday at 3, Cantor Katie will participate, or is participating, I should say, in a concert of groundbreaking Jewish music. And she will share her own original composition. So I hope you can all join and support our beautiful Cantor.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the concert is it is called Her Holy Names, and it is promoting a publication of Reclaiming Judaism's post Women's Voices of Torah in Song. They've been collecting compositions for a while, and mine was selected, and there's going to be a great group of other musicians and artists who are going to be sharing work and telling a little bit about it and elevating women's voices in Torah. So if you haven't had a chance to see that, there was an email that went around, and if you still are looking for information from that, you can let me know and I can let you know. I'd love to have you along. It's going to be a really uplifting, interesting, beautiful, dynamic afternoon.
Woo hoo, Katie! our big congregational wow.
Yeah. Well, you know, Sue, you had your hand up before, and I did say that we would share other wows at the end of the service. So was that the one you planned to share?
No.
Okay. If you or anyone would like to say anything either now or, you know, after the service too.
I can wait.
Want to hang out. What's that? After?
I can wait. I mean, you whenever you want, Josh. I'm easy.
Does it apply to people other than you and me?
Other than what?
Other than you and me and Katie. I mean, if you wanted to share something, feel free.
I can wait. I'll wait.
Okay. All right. Sally, do you have your hand up? Or are you just adjusting your set? Okay. So anyone? Maya?
Yes, Rabbi.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Hi, Shabbat Shalom all, and thank you again, Rabbi and Cantor Katie. Beautiful service as always. Just a strange, wonderful day having what feels like springtime in November with a metaphoric springtime with this election.
Yeah.
Coinciding with Shabbat has just been really special. And I just appreciate being able to be with you all. Thank you again.
Thanks so much, Evan.
Thank you.
It was great. I got out a little bit, with the dogs yesterday and today, and just seeing them frolic in the leaves and realizing these are the things I used to do.
It feels like hope, which is really something that is therapeutic.
That's great.
Beautiful.
Rabbi?
Hi, go ahead. Rosalie, is that you?
Yes, it's me. I would like to share that today is my Uncle Stanley Sandler's yard site. He was born on November 11th and he died on November 11th, and he served in the United States Navy. So I honor him a lot today and all days.
We should. We certainly should. By the way, I know we have a few guests. We'll have more tomorrow, but is anyone far away other than our Washingtonian Ginsburgs? Anyone like a guest from?
I definitely would like to welcome all the Shapiro family, and Danny's parents are there. I see them waving. And I think I also saw your brother, Danny, did I? So their family, a chance to say hello is nice because it's hard tomorrow sometimes.
Hi, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We have a new baby in the house.
Oh,
and that was
Mazel Tov.
So the grandparents are filming, first time to see their new grandchild. And
wow.
So a lot going on in the Shapiro house.
Can you bring the baby to the camera?
No, the baby's now having a bath. And then
don't. That's all right. Okay.
Shabbat Shalom.
And Maya's other grandma Lois is on. I see Lois there. Hi Lois, glad to have you here too. And if there's anyone else, who's here family-wise with you guys, can let me know. I think I see everyone. But I'll just say, that was just a taste of what Maya's prepared for tomorrow too. Just a beautiful job, a beautiful soul, and you're in for a real treat tomorrow. So I hope you can join us. Her chanting is beautiful.
It absolutely is.
Are we at a place getting ready to conclude, Rabbi?
Conclude. I think that would be great.
If you were with us at the beginning, then you heard this at the beginning, but we've grown exponentially, and I want to. It just feels like a thing to go out with, the same thing we came in with. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. I'll build this world from love. So I hope you had a chance to hear it, because it just repeats that phrase. And this time, let it out. Okay. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. I will build this world from love. And you must build this world from love. And if we build this world from love, then God will build this world from love.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom all.
Shabbat Shalom.
Yasher Koach,
Shalom.
and
Shabbat Shalom.
Dr. Katie and Rabbi
Shabbat
and Maya.
shalom, everyone.
Good Shabbos.
Good
Good
Shabbos.
Shabbos.
Shabbat Shalom to you all.
Shabbat Shalom.
Good Shabbos.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Maya, we can't wait for tomorrow.
Oh, yes.
Can't wait.
Yes, thank you.
I'm going to do my quick share since I guess I missed my window. My wow is that I tested negative for COVID after returning spontaneously for a little visit to see my son and his fiance, who I hadn't seen for almost a year and who were supposed to get married the weekend that I visited, but they postponed it a year because of the virus. And so that was a huge wow.
That
really filled me. And I have a new grand dog. I just adore. So there you have it. Have a wonderful week.
Was the
Enjoy
flying okay? Was it okay to travel?
Flying was good. The reason I went then is 3 different groups of people who I trust implicitly, who are very conservative, all just came back and said, go now, take this window now, don't wait. And I was very impressed. I flew Delta because they do leave the middle seat free. And I felt safe. You know, I brought my protective gear and cleaned like a Jewish lady, but anyway, it was all good.
That's great.
And I'm grateful. So have a wonderful week, everybody, and enjoy the beautiful Indian summer weather.
Yeah.
You too.